Hi, it's been a while. So for the past week, I've been waking up at almost exactly 6:15 a.m. with my heart racing and my mind just immediately filled with all my current stresses and problems. I'll just lie there for like an hour and a half, like paralyzed by this fear, cry a bit if I'm feeling a bit dramatic and overwhelmed, and then force myself out of bed and pretend nothing even happened, and so the vicious cycle continues. Now for some reason this often happens when I'm overthinking something. I'll either really struggle to fall asleep and take hours to let the darkness take me, or I'll wake up really early. It kind of depends, but my sleep is always affected by my anxieties, and this just leaves me feeling overtired, therefore like less productive during the day, thus making me more stressed out. And you know, you get it, the cycle. But one thing has changed recently, and that is actually my attitude towards this anxiety. Instead of succumbing to its awful embrace and feeling miserable, I've decided to try to take proactive steps to make me feel a teeny bit less miserable. I mean, I often wonder how to properly handle it, and to be honest, I still don't fucking know. I have no clue. That's why I want to start therapy. That's not what this discussion is about. But there have been some things that I've been doing that have been, for some reason, helping me, so I thought I'd relay them. First of all, before we start off, I'd like to say that I know there are a lot of people who don't actually class themselves as someone with anxiety, and I think that's just because the word has been so trivialized and overused. Like, people are like, oh my god, I'm so anxious for this test, lol. And then, you know, it often isn't taken very seriously. So, to clarify, anxiety is an emotion characterized by feelings of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes like increased blood pressure. People with anxiety usually have recurring intrusive thoughts or concerns. They may also have physical symptoms such as sweating, trembling, dizziness, or a rapid heartbeat. Now, this is the definition of anxiety from the American Psychology Association. I think we can trust it. Right, now that we've got that out of the way and you can personally assess whether you feel you fit this label, or even if you're just an overthinker in general, I shall tell you about my home remedies for this problem. Please bear in mind, I'm not an expert of any sort. I barely know what I'm talking about half the time, so please take all of this with a huge tablespoon of salt. So first off, when I feel that the full weight of the anxiety is setting in, so I can just tell like my thoughts are spiraling, my mood is plummeting, I found it's a good idea to distract myself. For example, I throw myself into projects. So I've recently moved into a new flat. Do you like it? And I've really like dedicated myself to making my living space nice. I've been putting together a lot of desk chairs and piano stands and the like. Exercise is also great because it helps get rid of that nervous energy. I mean, it doesn't even have to be intense, like yoga works just as well. Or even like going on a walk and just listening to music is like so therapeutic. Playing a game or watching a movie or a series or something is also fun, but it doesn't always work for me. Sometimes I just suddenly realize that I've actually been staring into space for the past 10 minutes, completely focused on my problems, and I've missed some crucial plot point that I have to rewind for. But then again, sometimes it does work and I can just enjoy a lighthearted comedy, so you know, I guess it just kind of depends on the situation. The thing is though, distraction is a short-term solution. It's not really like going to fix everything, so it'll help for a couple hours or even a couple days, but like eventually your little mind is gonna slink back to all those anxious thoughts and you're like right back where you started. In my mind, the purpose of a distraction is to prevent you from feeling completely overwhelmed when the anxiety first hits you. Then when you're in a calmer, more rational mindset, you can choose to revisit those thoughts, but with the intent to solve them. I mean, at least for me, I don't care how long it takes. Like, I will just sit there and mentally work through the problem until I've reached some sort of end destination or solution. For example, we currently have a room open in our flat, and if we don't find someone to fill it pretty quickly, we're going to have to cover the rent for that room in addition to the rent for our room, which understandably caused me a lot of stress, but a lot of unnecessary anxiety built in with that. So the other day I literally just sat down and probably looked insane because I was just staring into space for like 45 minutes, but I thought myself through all the worries and stress and what ifs and like what if I have to move again and all this stuff, and got to the point of solution, which was, right, well, how can I solve this? Okay, I should start putting ads up, I should start asking around, I should start actively messaging people and do everything within my power so that, you know, even if it doesn't work out and the worst outcome happens, I know I've done my best. Yeah, and that really alleviated a lot of stress. I think this method is far more practical than just sitting and stewing over your negative thoughts, because then you're not really doing anything about the perceived problem, and therefore it could just continue indefinitely. Sometimes your problem won't have a solution, and a lot of the time you'll realize that's because the problem isn't really a problem at all, and it's not something to concern yourself, it's not something that's based in reality. For example, everyone in my life hates me. That is an irrational thought, that is an irrational anxiety, and you're not going to find a solution to that because there is none. Those kind of thoughts are things that you have to accept are irrational and talk yourself through to that point so that they no longer have a hold of you. Once I've got my solution, I will write it down so I can review it next time when I start getting worked up and anxious again. And it's just very comforting to look at the written word and be like, ah yes, it's all gonna be okay. I will say it is important to act on the solution because otherwise you just end up back at square one. So if it is within your control, you should definitely act on solving this problem for yourself. I will admit that sometimes the stress of it all stops me from doing the thing that would prevent me from stressing, and I don't know why my brain works like that. It makes no sense, like none whatsoever, but it's like necessary to push through. And once you get through that point and you can actually just do what you gotta do, it's such a relief. When I take action with something instead of just thinking about it, I immediately feel so much better. Although this is a rational way to handle anxiety, I think we can all agree that anxiety isn't rational. Sometimes you need an outside point of view to help you get to that like aha moment where you find your solution to a problem. And I mean, a lot of people help with that, like talking with family members, friends, therapists, teachers, anyone willing to just listen and help really. It can make a really big difference. Kind of a random side note to all of this, because I don't know if anyone else finds this comforting, but a lot of the time when I start feeling overwhelmed or start overthinking things, I find that making lists is really calming. I mean, sometimes I end up making like 6 lists back to back, and yeah, I know that makes me sound insane, but once I've done it, I feel so much calmer. So am I really insane, or is it just a genius solution to my problems? Sometimes it's nice to fill the personal space with things that make me happy. For example, I've stuck up pictures of friends and family and pretty places I've been to just like gaze up at sometimes. I've put all of my books on display now, and I've got this really cool colored light. How cool is it? Also, I picked the color blue because that's calming and it goes with my jersey, so I hope you appreciated that. Anyway, I don't know how, but this all collectively just improves my mood immediately. I also like to remind myself of everything that I have, everything that I'm grateful for, everything that's gone so amazingly right in my life, instead of focusing on the negatives, all the people who love me and who are rooting for me. Yeah, that can help a lot too, actually. When the worst comes to the worst, I'll try channel the anxiety into something positive, like doing a bunch of chores or trying to write or video edit. Through doing these small things, I feel a lot more confident in my abilities and a lot less concerned about life's problems. It's very much a case of like, hey, I did a whole load of laundry. Wow, and there I was thinking I didn't have my life together. I'm amazing. That's kind of the thought process that goes with this. Anyway, those are my tips and tricks to navigating the mindfuckery that is overthinking and anxiety. Oh my god, how many times have I said that word in this video? I'm so sorry. I mean, that is basically the topic, so I would be disappointed if I didn't say that word a lot. As I said before, I have no idea what I'm doing, but maybe you won't have heard of one of these ideas before and it'll completely revolutionize your life. Or maybe it's just comforting to hear that someone else is experiencing the same thing as you, even if I offered little to no new insight on the matter. Either way, thank you for watching. You're pretty cool, and I really hope you get through what you're going through at the moment. You're too sexy to be sad. I can't believe that's the note I'm leaving this video on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.